If our gut health is strong, that means we're reducing a lot of inflammation out of the body. And so when athletes run into issues, we run into issues around the joints. Inflammation is stored in the joints. So if we're talking about injury prevention, which I completely stress all throughout these seminars and when I'm talking to people on the daily basis, I'm always talking about injury prevention. And so once we control our nutrition or our gut health first, then we start talking about movement prep or prehab work, which consists of corrective exercises that once again activate our core, activate our glutes, and open up our mid-back. Let's say if we're suffering from inflammation, well, I wouldn't take something like ibuprofen or painkillers because they all have a side effect in the body. Something like the painkillers, well, it block us from feeling the pain. So now if we can't feel the pain, we keep fighting, we keep working, and now we can't feel that pain. So if we're working through that pain, well, we risk injuring ourselves further. On top of that, it helps, it breaks our stomach lining down, especially with something like ibuprofen. So it breaks the stomach lining down. So now if we break our stomach lining down, well, that's not good gut health. And so if our gut health isn't as good as it can be, now we have more inflammation in the body. More inflammation in the body, now we feel it in the joints. So that's why I always talk about gut health so much. And so gut health, everything we eat is all about keeping the digestive system as strong as possible. If we keep the digestive system strong, our immune system is strong, and our nervous system is strong. So just some of the foods that can affect our digestive system and cause leakage into our bloodstream or leaky gut. So that could be caffeine. I think I spelled that right. That could be
First thing on the list.
That could be gluten. Okay. Maybe our body could maybe that could be grains for some of us, depending on how our body is individually made up. So these are the things that could cause inflammation here. Of course.
Now, right off the bat.
Actually, caffeine.
This would double.
And so even I would put bacon in there.
Damn it.
And so I was just talking to Virgil, and once again, I never do anything to like try to cut weight, especially when I'm not in weight cut mode, to like try to get into my weight class. But I cut bacon maybe a month and a half ago, and I woke up 2 pounds lighter. Just 2 pounds lighter. I cut eggs also. Eggs. Only because they fit into the dairy category. They're not actually a meat, but they actually fit into the dairy category. I'm not saying you have to cut them. I'm just telling you what I cut. So the style of eating that I do is an anti-inflammatory style of eating. And if you look at the Western diet or the American diet, it's a very pro-inflammatory diet. Yeah. And so you'll see a lot of these things in there. All these things can lead to breaking down our digestive system or lead to inflammation in our system. So now I know that I can control inflammation through the way I eat. And so some of the foods that I can eat to help with fighting inflammation, of course, I would use something like flax oil, high in omega-3s. It's a plant-based omega-3. Of course, most people probably use fish oil. But I would take fish oil even a step further. I don't do fish oil at the moment. Actually, I don't do fish oil. If I wanted something like that, I would do krill oil. So the fish don't naturally produce the omega-3s. The fish eat the crustaceans at the bottom of the ocean, which are krill. And so krill oil is the direct omega-3s. So I try to go straight to the source with that. They're at the bottom of the ocean. It's a little less toxic, a little less polluted down there at the bottom, as opposed to everything at the top, which is why I don't eat fish at the moment either. I'm trying to avoid mercury. I'm trying to avoid the toxics. I'm trying to keep my gut health as strong as possible. And so, of course, when I get into competition mode, which is usually things start changing 8 weeks out. I'm trying to eliminate as much as possible. I'm trying to strengthen up the gut, my gut as much as possible, because if I strengthen up my gut, that means I'm really reducing the inflammation. That means I'm really should have fresh joints. And that would be, to me, the key to recovery. So flax oil I will use, fish oil, peppers. Peppers are another food that help fight with inflammation. Jalapeno peppers, habanero peppers, and the rest of the pepper families. They have the main ingredient, capsaicin. So if you look at capsaicin, you see it in a lot of the muscle rubs. You put it on your muscle and it adds that heat in there. Well, imagine chopping it up, putting it in your salad, putting it up in your food, and now you're having that same effect inside the body. You're fighting inflammation from within. So that's just another one of the ones I would use. Walnuts actually have omega-3s in them. So they're similar to the flax oil. They're also plant-based, ALA omega-3. And what I would start every morning off with, so I would start off every morning with lemon water. So lemon water, room temperature water, and then I would eat breakfast 30 minutes later. So that's how I would break my fast. So now the lemon water is actually helps fight inflammation. It helps, it's a daily cleanse, so I treat it as a daily cleanse. Keep the system flowing, keep the system flushing out that waste, and it helps with bringing some of the acidity out of the body. And so, of course, that's stored on the joints. So now, I'm getting my daily my day on how I'm eating is getting me ready to train. This is how I'm getting prepared to compete or getting prepared to train on a daily basis. If I wake up in the morning and I feel something, well, of course I'm going to do that. And that's most likely going to give me something's going to happen there. At that point, I can pump fish oil or krill oil. So I can pump something like that. I can add in some walnuts before the workout, which is what I do sometimes. So if my body's feeling sore, so if I have muscle soreness is inflammation. So if I'm having that, well, I know I can start going to some of these things and trying to alleviate that. I know depending on what I ate in that day before or days before, I know that could be the reason that I'm a little bit more sore. So this is gut health and strengthening up the gut.